I actually feel pretty good about where we are right now.
So an interesting first day of free agency in the Canadian Football League from a Blue Bomber point of view. Paul Friesen here with Jim Bender of the Winnipeg Sun to talk about what's happened in Bomberland, Jim. And I don't know if you'd call it a disaster, but losing receiver Greg Carr and offensive lineman Brendan Labatt, two mainstays on offense, is a pretty solid hit. What do you think?
It's a very solid hit. Losing Labatt is like losing Chris Wallaby from the old days, I think. I know he has legitimate reasons for it, but that's a big blow for the Bombers. Greg Carr, maybe not quite as much, but he is an experienced receiver who showed a lot of explosive potential there. And it's going to take them a while to replace him unless they can get another experienced receiver with the same speed and explosiveness.
Mac seemed, he kind of shrugged the moves off. Here's what he said about the losses of Labatt and Carr.
With Greg, with no disrespect to Greg, I feel very confident that we have some young guys we signed already, and we'll bring in some other guys. I think we do a fairly good job of finding American talent, particularly wide receiver. So Greg made some really good contributions, but we brought in somebody like Clarence Denmark right away, and you can make the case that Clarence was maybe as valuable as any wide receiver we had last year. So I think we'll be able to do that. That's just the nature of the beast in regards to American talent. And Brendan, we have some good young players. We like Chris Greaves, we like Chris Kowalczyk, Paul Swiston, who we drafted. We like, we have young man Sorensen, and we have Dunn coming back. So we have 5 young guys that we really like that we think are on the cusp of being able to play, and now's the time for them to step up. So would we like to have Brendan back? Sure, but do we have contingencies that we feel good about? Absolutely.
Mac seemed more concerned, Jimmy, about the reaction from some players to the loss of Carr and Labatt on Twitter accounts. Earlier today, Dion Beasley called the organization cheap, and Jonathan Heffney says it seems like everybody else is improving except for us. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Joe Mac's answer to that is he has to consider the cap, which is true. They haven't seemed to have gotten better. I know they got their quarterbacks back, but that's just maintaining a status quo as far as I'm concerned, and they haven't gone out and really gotten anybody out there. It's been Mac's MO, though, not to really go after free agents, but sure it would be nice to sign someone, especially now an offensive lineman, an experienced offensive lineman, a Canadian, because we're finding out just how valuable they are.
Mac was really disappointed in their reactions, though. He called it unprofessional, uncalled for.
It's just a young man sometimes speaking before they actually think. So I don't think there's any validity to that. We spent to the cap. We're building a brand new stadium. I can tell you that Osama Abizaid and the board are absolutely committed to making sure that everything for the players is first class. I believe in that, and so I think that they get emotional at times, and I think that was just an emotional comment that wasn't accurate.
Well, this is the age of Twitter where people speak their minds right off the bat without thinking, I think, and I think they've already regretted it. One of them's already apologized for what he said.
Looking forward then, the Bombers likely to go after a player here and there, maybe a bit player, although Mac did hint today that former Calgary punter Burke Dales was perhaps on their radar. Actually, what he did say was no comment, but that you can read between the lines there.
Well, of course, that means he'd love to have him here, and after what they went through with their punting last year, I think he definitely will go after him. They must be concerned about Mike Renault.
All right, so if the rest of the free agency goes anything like the first 24 hours, we're in for quite a ride here. For the Winnipeg Sun, Paul Friesen and Jim Bender.